like to share with you a really easy recipe on making candied peel, and that's candied orange peel or lemon peel, citrus peel, but I'm making some lemon and orange today, but using reduced sugar. If you were to buy candied citrus peel from the grocery store, it is packed with sugar and you don't even really taste the fruit. What we were doing here is making a candied peel that is going to be either sugar-free or low in sugar, and I'll show you both ways. And we're going to be able to use this peel in more than just cakes and cookies. We're going to be able to use this peel in sauces, in salads, and in grains like rice, couscous, and quinoa. It really goes very, very well with all of these things. Now, the orange peel actually does have nutritional value, and it has most of all the vitamins that the actual fruit does. But the additional interesting thing about the peel is that the pith, for one, has more vitamin C, and the pith is the white stuff, has more vitamin C than the fruit itself. Also, orange peels have a lot of flavonoids, which are known to help reduce blood pressure and reduce inflammation. The peels also have calcium, vitamin A, vitamin B, and vitamin C. Interesting facts that I found out about orange peels that I didn't know before, and that is that although they don't have iron, orange peels will help absorb iron from other foods. So for instance, if you're having spinach with a lemon juice dressing on it, the lemon or the citrus fruit is going to help your body absorb the iron from the spinach. So also other foods like meat. If you're using a citrus with the meat, it's going to help you absorb that iron from the meat. So that was an interesting fact I did not know. Also, in terms of the history of oranges date back to some 4000 BC. Orange originated in Asia, and it's a hybrid of the pomelo fruit, which is the Chinese grapefruit, crossed with a tangerine. So that was very, very interesting. 5 countries that produce oranges in the world. Number 1 is Brazil, followed by the United States, then China, then India, and then Mexico. Over 600 varieties of oranges. So that's very interesting. So all we're going to need in order to make our peel is oranges or some other type of citrus fruit. We're going to be using 3 cups of water and 1 cup of sugar. Now the fruit is going to be, or the peel is going to be cooked in this simple syrup. And traditionally simple syrups are equal amounts, so equal amount of water to sugar. But it's too sweet for my liking, and I've used this 3-to-1 ratio, and it works great for cane sugar, and it works great for a sugar alternative. And today I'm using Truvia. So I'm using 1 cup of Truvia to 3 cups of water. You could use this or another sugar or just regular white sugar, 1 cup to 3 cups of water. And all we're going to want to do is remove the skin from our fruit. And I think everybody knows how to do that. But just for a really, it's a nice and quick method of peeling your oranges. And I don't know if anybody has seen one of these. I think this was from a Tupperware party maybe 20 years ago. And I know I'm not the only one that owns one. But this works really great, as does a knife. Maybe not as big as this one. So basically you're just going to peel your fruit, and I do it this way because I'm going to cut the peel in slices, so it just makes it way easier to do so. If you're only eating an orange or 2 a day, I just peel it the same way. I throw this in a Ziploc bag and I keep it in the fridge, and it'll keep for a good week until I'm ready to actually make my peels. So all we're gonna do is you're going to want to slice, and this makes it, we're gonna have to dry these. It just makes it easier to dry on a rack, and you can stack them. So you've got all these pieces. Now for 3 cups of liquid, I would probably make about 5 to 6 oranges, depending on the size of your orange. Now, yesterday, and you're thinking, well, what are you going to do with all these oranges? You can certainly take the segments apart, and you can store them in the simple syrup that we're going to have left over from making our candied fruit. Or what I do is I peeled, this was my lemon from yesterday. After I peeled it, I've just let it sit overnight, and the skin has calloused and it's gotten firm. So now I can cut it in half, and I can juice it easily without it falling apart, because I've recreated this tough exterior skin because I've removed the peel. So that's a good way to do it as well. So once you've got all your pieces cut of your peel, you're going to need a pot, and you're going to throw the peels in. We're going to cover the pot just enough to cover the peels with some cold water, and we're going to put it on the stove. We're going to bring it up to a boil, and we're going to boil it for one minute, and then we are going to strain the water and discard the water, and then we're going to repeat. We're going to put the skins back in our pot, just cover it with cold water again, bring it up to a boil, and boil it for another minute, and then discard the water, and then we are going to make our recipe. And the reason that you're boiling and discarding the water twice is because it gets rid of that bitter flavor that you find in the pith. So the end result is going to leave you with a sweet and citrusy flavor of peel without that bitterness. And that's a little trick that I learned from Anna Olsen, which is one of my favorite Canadian pastry chefs. And if Anna says it works, it works. So I'm gonna just fill this up with water, put it on the stove, and I'll be right back. I'm putting the spoon in so that you can see that we've just covered our peels with water. And now we're gonna wait and bring this up to a boil. So it's been a minute that we've boiled it, and now we're just going to strain it. So we just want to strain the orange, and we're going to put it back in our pot with water, and put it back on the stove. I bring it to a boil and boil it for another minute. So it's been a minute, and now we're going to strain this again and discard. Now you can see that the water is yellow. We're just removing all of that bitter water. Strain back into the pot. Peel, which we have boiled and discarded the water twice. And now we're just going to add 3 cups of water to our pot, and 1 cup of sugar or sugar alternative. And we're going to just turn it on high, and we're just going to move this around until it comes to a boil, and then we're going to put it on simmer for about 20 minutes to half an hour. So it's been a couple of minutes, and now it's at a full rolling boil. So turn it down to medium heat and just let it simmer for 20 minutes to half an hour. In 20 minutes, and our peel is done. And you can kind of see, well, the peel is definitely softened, but I don't know if you can kind of see, but it's become a little bit translucent, and that's exactly what you want. So now we're going to strain this, but we are going to keep the simple syrup, and we're going to let it dry overnight. So I'll show you the next step. We've got our hot simple syrup and our peels. We're just going to strain this directly into our bowl. And this is hot, so it should be a heat-proof bowl. Just try and get rid of as much of that water as you can. Look how nice the color of our simple syrup is. And then we just want to lay these out. And you might find that some fall through the cracks, but that's all right. Just want to spread them out. I would just take these and I'll just let them air dry overnight, or you can put them in the oven and let them dry overnight that way. But right now they are very moist and they're very pliable. And they're delicious this way. It's sweet, citrusy. You can certainly eat the peel the way it is, like this. It's just moist. You can cut it with a fork. That's how moist it is. Or you can allow it to dry overnight, as I have lemon candied peeled. So you can see that it's considerably firmer. It's sweet, lemony flavor. Fantastic. And you can see the difference between, I'll just give you, you can see the difference between the two. This is leathery. This is very, very soft. So that's basically, it's a difference in texture. And this keeps really nicely in the fridge. Now the way that another way that you can keep these is you can keep them in some of the simple syrup that you made. So I had the oranges, I dried them, I put them in my jar, and then I just covered them with a bit of the simple syrup. But in doing this, these oranges turned out, they are very, very soft and tender, as you can see. And these oranges are, I mean, they just break apart. I think you could mash them. You can. Look, you can mash them. That's how soft they are. But these are great for my sauces, so it's just a different way to keep them longer. Now this simple syrup is perfect for, I mean, it's a simple syrup, so you can add it to cocktails, mixed drinks. You can add it to sweeten iced tea. You can add it to sweet sauces. You can add it anywhere that you would like a citrusy flavored sugar. Now, because I made this with the sugar-free, the Truvia, I'm actually going to reserve this syrup. I'm going to add fruit to it, and I'm going to turn it into a real fruit syrup that can be used on pancakes, but that'll be done at a later time. I'm going to put this in a jar and I'm going to keep it in the fridge, and this is going to keep in the fridge for weeks on end as well. So hold on to this simple syrup. It is delicious and you're going to use it. Certainly, hands down, my favorite way to use these is to dry them overnight so that you've got this little leathery piece of fruit. Because the fruit is dry, it's easy for you to slice it in small pieces and then add it to your foods. So you can add, instead of cranberries on a salad, try some of this candied lemon. It's delicious. Or the candied orange on a salad is beautiful. One of my favorite things to do is to use it with quinoa, couscous, and sometimes just plain basmati rice. I cook my greens the way I normally do, and at the end I'll take a small handful, maybe a quarter of a cup of the chopped candied orange, and just mix it in with the couscous or the quinoa or the rice. And it imparts a beautiful orangey flavor with just a hint of sweetness. So I hope that you will make these. They're delicious as snacks just on their own. If you're feeling like a little candy or something sweet, grab one of these, pop them in your mouth. They're really delicious. They have some good nutrition to them, and they're so versatile. You can use these in everything from sauces to duck à l'orange to putting them in cakes and muffins, and all kinds of pastries are obvious choices, but other things. Chop them up and mix them up with nuts, just as a little hand mixed of fruit. It's really so versatile, and these are probably the peels that most people would throw into the compost. Although the compost is very important, but I rather eat my peels than throw them out. And they're super delicious. So if you try this recipe and you make use of your peels and you like it, I hope you share it. Enjoy!